I welcome you all to the video of the basics of the Sale of Goods Act. And you all must be knowing कि आपके जुडिशरी के syllabus में this subject is included, which is the Sale of Goods Act. Along with the judiciary के syllabus में in few states it is included, in some it is only in mains, and in some state it is in both the states. As well as when you give the UPSC ka exam by keeping law as an optional, so there also this SOGA is there. Sales of Good Act, which for brevity I'll be referring it as the SOGA. This is one of the subject which is the minor one but an important one with respect to your exam. So इस वीडियो में I'll be explaining you the basics of the subject. First of all, you need to know regarding the nature of the law. And you all must be knowing that law is of two kinds. Either it could be codified or it is uncodified law. Codified law का मतलब होता है on such subject matter we have some legislation, we have some statute, and SOGA comes under the category of codified law. The Indian Penal Code of 1860, Indian Contract Act, ये सब example है codified law के, because we have the कानून, legislation, statute on it. And uncodified law means such subject matter on which there is no legislation is there, on which there is no act or a statute, and the law of tort, which is one of the subject when it comes to clearing the judiciary exam, or even in UPSC as the law optional, you have the law of tort as an example. So this SOGA is the codified law. और जब भी आप कोई codified law पढ़ो तो सबसे पहले you need to collect the basic information with respect to the factual data, so that कि जब आप concept पे जाओ, these data won't hinder you, won't confuse you at the day of exam. So let us see regarding the total number of sections under the SOGA, and it is just 66 sections which are there in the Sales of Good Act of the 1930. If you see the total number of chapters under SOGA in which the 66 sections are given, that is 7. So 7 chapters में 66 sections are provided under the Sales of Goods Act. Next information is regarding the extent. Extent का मतलब होता है up till what territory this particular legislation is applicable in India. And you all must be knowing that with the abrogation of Article 370 and with the enactment of J&K Reorganization Act of 2019, with the abrogation of Article 370 of the Constitution of India and with the enactment of Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Act of 2019, this act, which got the assent of the President on 9th August 2019, जो कि applicable है from 31st October 2019, इस act के आते ही the state of Jammu Kashmir that has been bifurcated into the two union territories. One is the Union Territory of J&K and another is the Union Territory of Ladakh. And when you see section 95 subsection 1 of the JNK Reorganization Act, तो वहां पर लिखा है कि जो भी सेंट्रल लॉज हैं which are mentioned in the table 1 of 5th schedule, they all will be applicable to these two union territory. And more specifically, when you see the serial number 96, तो पहले क्या था? Prior to the abrogation of Article 370 of the Constitution of India, जम्मू एंड कश्मीर के स्टेट पे सेल्स ऑफ गुड्स एक्ट इज नॉट एप्लीकेबल. और अगर आपके पास पुरानी बेयर एक्ट होगी प्रायर टू दी 2019 के इनैक्टमेंट के, तो यू मस्ट बी सीइंग द बेयर एक्ट अंडर सेक्शन 1, जहां पे लिखा है कि सेल्स ऑफ गुड एक्ट इज एप्लीकेबल टू द होल ऑफ इंडिया अदर देन द स्टेट ऑफ JNK. बट नाउ these words has been omitted now, and this is based on our government policy. हमारी गवर्नमेंट की पॉलिसी है वन नेशन वन हेल्थ कार्ड, वन नेशन वन रेशन कार्ड. On the same notion, we have one nation and one rule with respect to the sale of goods, and that is the Sales of Good Act 1930. So extent क्या है now? It is to the whole of India. Next information is regarding the commencement date. Commencement date का मतलब होता है और the enforcement date both is same, जिसका मतलब होता है किस दिन से कानून is applicable. And for the Sale of Goods Act, it is 1st July 1930. This is the date from which the sale of goods is applicable in the Indian territory. So the commencement date or the enforcement date is 1st July. और ये सारी चीजें कहाँ लिखी है? In section 1 of the SOGA, which provides for short title, extent and commencement. And the section is like this, that this act shall be called as the Sale of Goods Act 1930. इसीलिए enactment year जो है of the SOGA का, that is 1930. enactment year का मतलब होता है किस साल वो कानून बनाया गया है. And with respect to SOGA, it is 1930. And in subsection 2, they are providing that it extends to the whole of India. Subsection 3 says that it shall come into force on 1st day of July 1930. It means 1st July 1930 is the commencement date. Now let us see, we are reading the basic of the subject, the Sale of Goods Act 1930. So first of all, we need to understand the term sale, and then we will be understanding the goods जो कि subject matter है of the sale under the SOGA. So let us first understand the term sale. Sale is a transaction which could be termed as the transfer. And what is the test जिससे हमें पता चलता है कि particular transaction is transfer? That is to check whether there is creation of any new interest in that property. If yes, then it will be the case of transfer. So sale में, as it is a kind of transfer, it means there must be a new interest created, and this new interest can be of two kinds. Either it could be the absolute interest या ये limited interest हो सकता है. and in case of sale, as all the rights is given to the transferee, meaning thereby absolute interest is created. यानी सेल ऐसा ट्रांजैक्शन है, ऐसा ट्रांसफर है in which absolute interest is created in favor of the transferee. Property is of two kinds depending on the material thing. It could be movable property or it could be immovable property. If a property has the ability and the capability to change its place, then it will be put under movable property की category में. If it does not, it will be classified as immovable property. So जब भी हम sale करेंगे of movables का, that is sale of movable properties there, then it is the SOGA which regulates such sale. Whereas अगर sale of immovable property is there, then in that case we need to see Transfer of the Property Act of 1882, which regulates the transfer of immovable property and few transfer of movables. इसीलिए आपके दिमाग में क्वेश्चन आ सकता है कि what is the legislation which regulates the transfer and that to be sale of movable, and that is the SOGA. तो अगर movable property का sale हो रहा है, Sale of Goods Act is the legislation which regulates such sale. Whereas अगर immovable property का sale is there, then it will be regulated as per the provision of section 54 of the Transfer of Property Act of 1882. So till now हमें ये समझ में आया कि जो sale है, that is a kind of transfer, and such transfer in which the absolute interest is created in favor of the transferee, and this absolute interest is called as the ownership right. यानी transferee को हम owner बना दे रहे हैं. If a ownership is given to the transferee, it means every right with respect to that property, be it the right to enjoy, be it right to possess, right to manage that property, be it right to dispose, be it right to distribute, or even the right to destroy is there with the transferee, क्योंकि हमने उसे absolute interest दिया है. तो सेल ऐसा ट्रांजैक्शन है जहां पर ओनरशिप राइट इज क्रिएटेड इन द फेवर ऑफ द ट्रांसफरी डिपेंडिंग ऑन द काइंड ऑफ प्रॉपर्टी. अगर मूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी है तो दैट का सेल विल बी रेगुलेटेड बाय द सोगा. लेकिन आप सोगा में यू विल नॉट फाइंड दिस वर्ड ओनरशिप एनीवेयर रिटन. आप ये वर्ड ओनरशिप नहीं पाओगे. जबकि if you'll be seeing the Transfer of Property Act and that to be section 54, तो यहाँ पे under that section 54 of the TPA, you'll be noting the word ownership, where the ownership is right is being created in the favor of the buyer of immovable property. So now the question is कि with what word we can infer under the SOGA that the ownership is created, and that word is property in goods. जो word use किया गया है instead of the word ownership under SOGA, it is the property in goods. And section 4 will tell you, which defines the term contract of sale of goods. So instead of using ownership, property in goods is used in SOGA. So if the sale of movable is there, it will be regulated by the Sale of Goods Act. तो ये तो मीनिंग हो गई सेल की. Now let us see the meaning of the term goods, which is the subject matter of the sale under the SOGA. And as it is the codified law, so we need to see the definition clause, and that to be section 2 clause 7 of the Sales of Good Act, which defines the term SOGA. तो जब आप गुड्स की डेफिनेशन देखोगे तो देयर इट इज रिटन दैट गुड्स मीन्स every kind of movable property. तो पहले इतना समझते हैं. Goods means every kind of movable property. The first part of section 2 clause 7 is saying. इसका मतलब immovable property is not the subject matter of the sale under SOGA. क्योंकि लिखा है ना goods का मतलब every kind of movable property. लेकिन इस movable property में they have excluded two things. Let us see what is that. Goods means every kind of movable property other than money and actionable claim. यानी दो चीजों को माइनस किया गया है. One is money and another is actionable claim. So now let us see कि why these two things has been excluded. क्या ये immovable है इसलिए या they are movable but not goods? Obviously they are not the immovable property. क्योंकि अगर immovable property होता तो there is no need of excluding them. Because starting line is saying that goods means every kind of movable property. So ये immovable property तो नहीं होंगे. So what we can refer from the goods का definition से ये जो actionable claim और money है, these are movable property but not goods. ये movable property तो हैं लेकिन ये goods नहीं हैं. Why they has been excluded? Because money is the consideration for the sale of goods. ये जो money है, this is the consideration for the sale of goods. And you must be knowing कि consideration as defined in section 2D of the Indian Contract Act of 1872, it says that price of a promise will be the consideration as held in the Fazluddin के केस में. तो जब money consideration है, then how one thing can be both? How one thing can be subject matter as well as the price, which is the money consideration here. इसीलिए money को exclude किया गया है. लेकिन you have to keep one thing in mind कि यहाँ जो money है, that they are talking about the current money in circulation, legal tender. लेकिन मान लो 1000 की नोट है which has been demonetized या rare coin है which has ceased to be in circulation, तो क्या वो subject matter हो सकता है? Yes. तो exclude किया क्या गया है goods से? The current money in circulation, जिसको हम legal tender बोलते हैं. तो अगर कोई old and rare coin है which has ceased to be the currency, और द demonetized note of 1000, वो it could be a subject matter. Actionable claim is regulated by the Transfer of Property Act. जब आप Transfer of Property Act का last chapter 8 देखोगे तो from section 130 till section 137 of the TPA it is about the transfer of actionable claim. और actionable claim का general meaning होता है right to recover dues by action. And in your exam they used to ask ki what is actionable claim and what is not. So actionable claim को regulate करने के लिए TPA is there, a different legislation is there, so that used to regulate it, or money as it is the consideration. So that's why these two items has been excluded from the term goods, meaning thereby these two, money and actionable claim, ये movable property तो है लेकिन ये goods नहीं है, and goods is the subject matter of sale, so they will not be regulated by the SOGA. Further definition जब आप पढ़ोगे section 2 clause 7 में, तो it is saying that and the definition of goods which include following. It includes the stock as well as share. और जब आप इंग्लिश लॉ की डेफिनेशन देखोगे गुड्स की, तो देयर यू वोंट बी फाइंडिंग दीज टू एलिमेंट, क्योंकि हमारा जो इंडियन लॉ है दैट इज वाइडर विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू द डेफिनेशन ऑफ गुड्स, क्योंकि स्टॉक और शेयर जो है वो नहीं इंक्लूडेड है इन द इंग्लिश लॉ definition of the goods. And along with the stock and shares, they include in the term goods growing crops as well as grass, and this you can relate with the TPA section 3 जहां पे immovable property is defined. तो जब आप section 3 of the Transfer of Property Act का देखोगे, which is the interpretation clause, where they have defined the first term as the immovable property, तो वहां पे instead of providing कि what is immovable property, they have provided कि क्या चीज immovable property नहीं है. इसीलिए you'll be seeing that immovable property does not include three things. It is a standing timber, it is growing crop, as well as grass. तो जब ये immovable property है नहीं, तो आपके दिमाग में एक क्वेश्चन आ सकता है कि फिर ये है कौन से nature of property? So that answer you'll be getting here from the definition of SOGA में of the goods. लिखा है ना? Goods includes growing crop and grass. These are the goods, meaning thereby movable property. And along with these, the things which is attached to earth, this is most important क्योंकि यहाँ पे many people get confused. वो चीजें जो अर्थ से अटैच हैं, the thing which is attached to earth or which is forming the part of land, if they are agreed to be severed before sale, I'll be explaining इसका मतलब क्या है. If they are agreed to be severed before sale or under the contract of sale, then that will be also considered as the goods for the purpose of SOGA. यानी वो चीजें जो अर्थ से अटैच हैं या फॉर्म कर रही हैं पार्ट ऑफ लैंड, they will be also the movable property, meaning thereby goods. कब? अगर एग्रीमेंट हो जाए कि सेल से पहले हम उनको अलग कर देंगे और they will be severed under the contract of sale, then such thing will be classified as the goods. समझते हैं through the example. Let us understand these things with the help of three situations. Suppose करो this is a piece of land on which the trees are standing. So what will be the nature of these trees which is standing on the land? और अगर इस लैंड के ट्रांसफर के साथ इस ट्रीज का भी ट्रांसफर होता है तो क्या सोगा इसे रेगुलेट करेगी? आंसर इज नो, बिकॉज द ट्री विल बी कंसिडर्ड एज द इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी एज वेल एज द लैंड. लेकिन अगर इसी ट्री को सपोज करो द ट्री इज कट एंड इट इज लाइंग ऑन द लैंड, then what about the state of this tree which is lying on the land, which is being severed? तो अब क्या हम इसको गुड्स कंसिडर कर सकते हैं? आंसर इज यस, क्योंकि अभी हमें लास्ट पार्ट देखा ऑफ सेक्शन 2 सब क्लॉज सेक्शन 2 क्लॉज 7 में वेयर दे आर प्रोवाइडिंग दैट चीजें जो कि अर्थ से अटैच हैं या जो कि फॉर्म कर रही हैं पार्ट ऑफ लैंड, अगर हम उन्हें सिवियर कर देंगे सेल से पहले और अंडर द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट ऑफ सेल, दे विल बी क्लासिफाइड एज गुड्स. और यहाँ पर क्या है? द ट्री इज कट एंड इट इज लाइंग ऑन द लैंड, सो दिस विल बी कंसिडर्ड एज द गुड्स और यू कैन से द मूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी. तीसरी सिचुएशन लेते हैं. सपोज करो द ट्रीज इज स्टिल लाइंग ऑन द लैंड, दे आर नॉट सिवियर्ड, लेकिन एक एग्रीमेंट हो गया है एंड दैट एग्रीमेंट इज दैट कि दैट ट्री विल बी सिवियर्ड बिफोर सेल, यानी सेल करने से पहले उस पेड़ को काट दिया जाएगा. तो नाउ अगेन दैट ट्री विल बी कंसीडर्ड एट द मोमेंट इट इज सिवियर्ड टू बी दी गुड्स. So you need to be cautious with respect to the things which is attached to it. Similarly, अगर doors और windows हैं, as long it is attached to the wall, जब तक ये attached है to the wall, they will be classified as immovable property, because the things which are embedded in earth, उसके साथ if something is attached for their beneficial enjoyment, that will be the immovable property as per TPA. लेकिन अगर इन्हीं doors और window को अलग कर दिया जाए, निकाल दिया जाए, तो that will be classified as the goods, and अगर इनका सेल करना होगा तो it is the SOGA which used to regulate it. Similarly, in the case of in the commissioner of sale tax, in the case of commissioner of sale tax versus MP electricity board, and the citation of this case is 1970 Supreme Court. इस केस में ऑनरेबल सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने ये हेल्ड किया कि जो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी है दैट इज आल्सो द गुड्स, because it can be transmitted, transferred, possessed, stored in the same way as the movable. लेकिन इसको रेगुलेट करने के लिए we have different legislation. Body organs, hairs, blood, ये सब goods हैं, लेकिन इनको रेगुलेट करने के लिए we have a specific legislation. Copyright, trademark, patent, decree, aeroplane, ये सब क्या है? These are the goods. What about the standing timber? क्या वो goods होगा या नहीं? Yes, standing timber will be the movable property, and the sale of it will be regulated by the SOGA, as held in the case of Shantabai versus State of Bombay. And in this case, the issue was raised with respect to the nature of the property, how we determine a tree to be an immovable one and when it will be taken as the movable. So that के लिए you need the help of SOGA as well as TPA, जहाँ पे the court has held in the 1958 by the Honorable Supreme Court कि अगर एक standing timber है on land which is agreed to be severed before sale, so it will be obviously the movable property because its basic nature is कि उसे cut किया जाएगा and it will be used for furnitures and other thing. Whereas a tree which draws its nourishment from the soil, that will be considered as the immovable property. So ये जो goods है which is the subject matter of sale under SOGA, let me conclude what we have understood till now. गुड्स का मतलब होता है मूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी, लेकिन इस मूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी में दो थिंग दे हैव एक्सक्लूडेड, वन इज मनी एंड अनदर इज एक्शनेबल क्लेम. And along with these things, they are including in the definition of goods stock, shares, growing crops, grass, as well as things which is attached to earth, or the thing which is forming part of land. लेकिन जो चीजें अर्थ से अटैच हैं या लैंड का पार्ट फॉर्म कर रही हैं, दैट मस्ट बी अग्रीड टू बी severed before sale or under the contract of sale, then only it will be classified as the goods, which is the subject matter of the sale under SOGA as per section 2 clause 7 of the Sale of Goods Act. Let me read out the provisions so that you can correlate whatever I have bifurcated for you. क्या that is given in the Bare Act provision में. Section 2 clause 7, goods means every kind of movable property other than actionable claims and money, and includes stock, shares, growing crops, grass, and things attached to or forming part of land which are agreed to be severed before sale or under the contract of sale. So goods we have understood. Contract of sale जो है वो दो तरीके का हो सकता है. This contract of sale of goods, it could be of two kind. या तो वो सेल होगा और it could be agreement to sell. So what is the difference in sale and agreement to sell? As the contract of sale of goods is the wide term and it includes both. तो जब हम ओनरशिप को ट्रांसफर कर देंगे, when the ownership is transferred, immediately from seller to buyer who are parties in case of sale, then that will be classified as sale. यानी जिस ट्रांजैक्शन में ओनरशिप जो गुड्स में है वो तुरंत जा रही है from seller to buyer, then it will be with the case of sale. लेकिन उन सिचुएशन में जहां पर ओनरशिप is to be transferred later on, is transferred on some future date. ये future date हो सकता है, it could be some date, future time, or it could be dependent on some condition के होने पर. So if the ownership is to be transferred in future from seller to buyer, अगर हम ownership को transfer कर रहे हैं future में from seller to buyer, it will be the case of agreement to sell, and if it is transferred immediately, it will be a case of sale. लेकिन हम ये पता कैसे करें कि ये सेल है या एग्रीमेंट टू सेल है? So that के लिए, in order to determine whether it is sale or it is agreement to sell, the kinds of the goods will tell us goods का क्या kind है, as well as the intention of the parties will be seen. That will determine whether it will be the sale or the agreement to sell, जहां पर ownership future में pass करेगी from seller to the buyer. तो now let us see the kind of the goods. Goods जो हैं, it could be of two kind. या तो वो existing हो सकते हैं, or it could be the future goods. और जब भी आपको कोई भी लॉ पढ़ना हो, be it substantive, be it procedure, be it the major, be it the minor one, or the local laws, you have to keep the thing by bifurcating the ingredients in flowchart form, diagrams के form में, bubble diagrams, flowchart, mnemonics, these all will help you. This will help you to grasp the concept of law. That's why flow chart is helpful. अब बच्चे गलतियां क्या करते हैं? वो rectification शुरू करते हैं. That is not the correct way to command on any provision of law. So existing goods हो सकते हैं और the future goods. Existing goods नाम ही बता रहा है ऐसे goods जो कि exist कर रहे हैं at the time of sale. Such goods which are with the seller at the time of sale, that will be classified as the existing goods. लेकिन ऐसे goods जो कि अभी existence में है ही नहीं, which is not with the seller at the time of sale, agreement के समय, then that will be case of future goods. Existing goods का मतलब ऐसे goods जो कि exist कर रहे हैं at the time of sale with the seller, whereas if the goods does not exist with the seller, whereas he to get such goods in future, that will be the case of future goods. ये तो हो गई इसकी general meaning. And when you see the बैराक का language, existing goods को समझने के लिए you need to see section 6 का subsection 1 of the SOGA, जहां पे they are providing that कि such goods which is being possessed or owned by the seller at the time of contract of sale, that will be classified as existing goods. Let me read 6 clause 1 so that you can correlate. The goods which form the subject of the contract of sale may be either existing goods owned or possessed by the seller. So this line will tell us कि existing goods का मतलब होता है ऐसे goods जो कि own या possessed हैं by the seller, and I told you the general meaning. Such goods जो कि seller के पास में है, it is in existence at the time of sale, and that is with the seller. In order to understand the future goods, we need to see section 2 clause 6. Section 2 is about the definition clause. तो जब आप 2 clause 6 देखोगे जहां पे future goods is defined, तो it says that such goods which are to be manufactured or such goods which are to be acquired or which are to be produced by the seller after the making of contract of sale. यानी ऐसे गुड जिनको की सेलर के द्वारा मैन्युफैक्चर किया जाएगा या प्रोड्यूस किया जाएगा या एक्वायर किया जाएगा, कब? आफ्टर द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट ऑफ सेल. दिस वर्ड आफ्टर विल टेल अस कि जब कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बन जाएगा सेल का, उसके बाद दैट गुड विल कम इनटू द एग्जिस्टेंस विद द सेलर, and that will be the kind of future goods. Future goods means the goods to be manufactured or produced or acquired by the seller after the making of contract of sale. और ये जो existing goods हैं, again it could be either the specific goods. Specific goods को समझने के लिए we need to see section 2 clause 14 of the SOGA. It says that ऐसे goods जिसको कि identify किया गया है as well as agreed and that to be at the time of contract of sale. यानी जिस वक्त contract of sale हो रहा है, अगर goods को हम identify और agree कर लेते हैं which is the subject matter of sale, then that will be called classified as specified goods. 2 clause 14, specific goods means goods identified and agreed upon at the time of contract of sale is made. Existing goods specific हो सकते हैं or it could be unascertained goods. So whenever the goods is the future goods, जब future goods है या जब unascertained goods है, it will be always the case of agreement to sell. और अभी I have told you few minutes back कि it is dependent on the kind of the goods as well as the intention of the parties कि ये sale है या agreement to sell है. And the difference in sale and agreement to sell समझने के लिए we need to see section 4 of the SOGA which defines the term sale and agreement to sell. So let me explain section 4 subsection 1 जहाँ पे contract of sale is defined. तो contract of sale of goods सबसे पहले तो the word contract is there, इसका मतलब there must be a contract. Contract word used है, इसका मतलब सारे के सारे principles of the contract that will be applicable. It means section 10 of the Indian Contract Act that will be applicable. तो ये ऐसा contract है जहां पर seller who is one of the party to the sale of goods में, where the seller either he transfers और he agrees to transfers. ये दो वर्ड क्यों यूज किया गया है? ये दो वर्ड इसलिए यूज किया गया है बिकॉज आई टोल्ड यू कि कॉन्ट्रैक्ट ऑफ सेल ऑफ गुड्स जो है वो दो तरीके का हो सकता है, या तो सेल होगा या एग्रीमेंट टू सेल होगा. तो सेल के केस में द वर्ड ट्रांसफर इज यूज एंड इन केस ऑफ एग्रीमेंट टू सेल दे हैव यूज्ड द वर्ड अग्रीज टू ट्रांसफर. और सेलर करेगा क्या? ट्रांसफर और अग्रीज टू ट्रांसफर प्रॉपर्टी इन गुड्स. और प्रॉपर्टी इन गुड्स का मतलब ओनरशिप. When you read the property का meaning as given in section 2 clause 11 of the SOGA, so there it is provided that property means the general property in goods, not the special property. So let me explain कि general property और special property है क्या, then only you'll be understanding the meaning of the term property. Property means the general property in goods, not the special property. As I told you कि जब भी हम किसी प्रॉपर्टी का ट्रांसफर करते हैं, always some interest is created. Either the absolute interest is created in that property by transferring that property, or it could be the case of limited interest. जब हम absolute interest create कर रहे हैं in favor of the transferee by transferring any property, then they are talking about the general property. मतलब सच प्रॉपर्टी जहां के रिस्पेक्ट में ऑल द राइट्स इज बीइंग वेस्टेड इन द फेवर ऑफ द ट्रांसफरी. तो एब्सोल्यूट इंटरेस्ट मींस द ओनरशिप, meaning thereby the general property is being given to the transferee as all the rights is being given to the transferee. Whereas अगर हम प्रॉपर्टी में लिमिटेड इंटरेस्ट क्रिएट कर रहे हैं, then it means the special property. Why the special property? As we are only giving the some special or the limited right to the transferee. और सेल के केस में in the very beginning I told you कि वो absolute interest is created in the favor of the transferee. So they are talking about the general property in goods, not the special property. So what section 4 subsection 1 is telling कि जो contract of sale of goods है वो सबसे पहले contract होगा. इसका मतलब सारे के सारे प्रिंसिपल जो हैं कॉन्ट्रैक्ट के दैट विल बी एप्लीकेबल. एंड इन दिस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट अ पार्टी सेलर, सेलर को समझने के लिए वी नीड टू सी द टर्म सेलर एज डिफाइंड इन सेक्शन 2 क्लॉज 13, जहां पे लिखा है सच पर्सन हु आइदर सेल्स और अग्रीज टू सेल. अगेन यहाँ पे दो टर्म लिखा गया है. ऐसा इंसान जो या तो बेचता है या वो अग्री करता है सेल करने के लिए, ही विल बी क्लासिफाइड एज सेलर. तो अगेन ये जो सेल वर्ड है दैट इज फॉर द सेल दे आर यूजिंग, एंड दिस एग्रीमेंट टू सेल दे आर यूजिंग फॉर द एग्रीमेंट टू सेल के केस में. एंड दिस सेलर इज आइदर ट्रांसफरिंग, सेल का केस है जहाँ पे ओनरशिप तुरंत दी जा रही है, or he is agreeing to transfer the property in goods, meaning thereby ownership, and that will be done to the another party who is buyer. And in order to understand the term buyer, we need to refer section 2 subclause 1, जहां पर लिखा है buyer का मतलब ऐसा इंसान जो कि buy करता है और agrees to buy. Again here the term buy is used for the sale and agrees to buy goods is used for the agreement to sell. तो ऐसा कॉन्ट्रैक्ट जहां पे सेलर या तो ट्रांसफर कर रहा है या अग्री कर रहा है कि वो ट्रांसफर करेगा प्रॉपर्टी इन गुड्स टू द बायर, एंड दैट ही विल बी डूइंग फॉर प्राइस. यानी सेल ग्रेटिटुअस ट्रांसफर नहीं है, प्राइस इन इन्वॉल्व्ड. And in order to understand the price, we need to see section 2 clause 10, जहां पर लिखा है कि प्राइस का मतलब मनी कंसिडरेशन फॉर द सेल ऑफ गुड्स. इसीलिए इन द वेरी बिगिनिंग जब गुड्स हम देख रहे थे, आई टोल्ड यू कि मनी हैज बीन एक्सक्लूडेड फ्रॉम द टर्म गुड्स बिकॉज मनी जो है वो कंसिडरेशन है. हाउ वन कैन थिंक बी बोथ सब्जेक्ट मैटर एज वेल एज द कंसिडरेशन. So if for a price seller is either transferring or agreeing to transfer the ownership and goods, that will be a case of sale. For subsection 1, a contract of sale of goods is a contract whereby the seller transfers or agrees to transfer the property in goods to the buyer for a price. And सबसेक्शन 2 हमें ये बताता है कि जो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट ऑफ सेल है वो एब्सोल्यूट हो सकता है और इट कुड बी कंडीशनल. कॉन्ट्रैक्ट ऑफ सेल ऑफ गुड्स इट कुड बी एब्सोल्यूट विदाउट एनी कंडीशन, और इट कुड बी कंडीशनल ऑन द हैपनिंग और नॉन हैपनिंग ऑफ सम कंडीशन. और जब आप 4 सबसेक्शन 3 पढ़ोगे तो जो मैंने आपको बताया कि सेल और एग्रीमेंट टू सेल में बस यही डिफरेंस है कि ओनरशिप कब जा रही है. अगर इमीडिएटली जा रही है तो वो सेल का केस होगा, लेकिन अगर वो फ्यूचर टाइम पे जा रही है ऑन सम फ्यूचर डेट on happening of certain condition, then that will be a case of agreement to sell, and that is written in 4 subsection 3, जो कि हमें ये बताता है कि अगर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट ऑफ सेल में प्रॉपर्टी इन गुड्स मीनिंग देयर बाय ओनरशिप, इसको जो है वो हम ट्रांसफर कर रहे हैं फ्रॉम सेलर टू बायर, it will be a case of sale. Whereas if the property in goods that is to be transferred on some future time, or it is dependent on the fulfillment of some condition, then it will be the case of agreement to sell. तो अगर तुरंत ओनरशिप जा रही है, प्रॉपर्टी इन गुड्स जा रही है, तो सेलर से बायर को, तो इट विल बी द केस ऑफ सेल. लेकिन अगर किसी फ्यूचर टाइम पे इट इज डिपेंडेंट, फ्यूचर डेट पे, और on the fulfillment of some condition, it will be a case of agreement to sell. 4 subsection 3, where under a contract of sale the property in the goods is transferred from the seller to the buyer, the contract is called a sale. But where the transfer of the property in goods is to take place at a future time or subject to some condition thereafter to be fulfilled, the contract is called an agreement to sell. And do you know, Sales of Goods Act के आने से पहले provision relating to sale of goods was contained in the Indian Contract Act. जब आप इंडियन कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एक्ट का चैप्टर 7 देखोगे, बिफोर सोगा इंडियन कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एक्ट का चैप्टर 7, and that to be from provision 76 till section 123. They were containing the provision regarding to the sale of goods. लेकिन as the law was not suiting the changes in the mercantile society, इसलिए इसको repeal कर दिया गया, and now this SOGA of 1930 was enacted, which is based on the English Sale of Goods Act of 1893. आपके दिमाग में ये क्वेश्चन आ सकता है कि व्हाट विल बी द फेट ऑफ द अग्रीमेंट टू सेल. सेल के केस में तो ऑब्वियसली द बायर is getting the ownership right. What about the future of agreement to sell? In case of agreement to sell, two possibilities is there. अगर ये perform कर दिया गया, then that agreement to sell will turn into sale. If not performed, then it will be a case of breach of contract, because आपने contract में पढ़ा होगा under the topic discharge of contract that there are 4 ways of discharging a contract. सबसे पहला तरीका है by performance, which is the best way. If you have hired a singer to perform on the 31st December 2022 और वो सिंगर आके परफॉर्म कर देता है, that contract is done, it will be discharged. The another way of discharging a contract is the breach of contract, which is the worst way of the contract. तो जब agreement to sell perform नहीं होगा, then that will be taken as the breach of contract, which is the worst method of the discharge of contract. Another way is the impossibility. Subsequent and initial impossibility, or the doctrine of frustration. When the impossibility occurs, then the parties are excused from performing their particular obligation, or by agreement also this contract can be discharged. For making the sale of goods, two parties are required. As I told you, दो parties required होती हैं for sale of goods. One is the seller and another is buyer. And there is one statement of Justice P.N. Bhagwati also, who has said that one cannot contract to buy his own goods. क्या statement है Justice P.N. Bhagwati का? When he said that one cannot contract to buy his own goods, meaning thereby two parties are required. One is seller, another is buyer. And this can be understood well with the help of the leading case, Graf versus Evans. Graf versus Evans में हुआ क्या था कि एक unregistered club थी. In the case of, which is leading case on the point of parties to the contract of sale of goods, there was one unregistered club. And there was practice in this unregistered club कि जो भी इंसान wine लेगा, he has to deposit certain money at the counter. So there was the practice in this unregistered club that whoever will take wine, he has to deposit certain amount at the counter. तो जो भी members रहते हैं इस club के, they used to take the wine and deposit certain amount of money at the counter. ये देखते हुए sale authorities want to tax this. पुराना केस है, GST के टाइम का नहीं है. तो whether sale authorities will be allowed to tax this, क्योंकि अगर सेल हुआ होगा वाइन का तो obviously sale tax will be invoked. सेल होने के लिए we need two parties, और यहाँ पर क्या है, there is an unregistered club. It means that unregistered club is not the legal person. So जब members जो wine ले रहे हैं and when they are depositing at the counter, so that is their own assets. So the club assets belongs to the member, and the members were the owner of the wine, and there is no sale of wine as there is no two party. जब दो party है ही नहीं, so sale हुई नहीं, so how the sale tax will be invoked. Another case is there with respect to the partnership firm, and the name of that case is State of Gujarat versus Raman Ral and Company. इस केस में एक पार्टनरशिप फॉर्म रहती है. पार्टनरशिप फॉर्म का मतलब जब लिविंग पर्सन अग्री करे कि they'll be carrying on the business and whatever the profit they'll be earning out of that business, they'll be sharing it. And sharing of the profit is a prima facie evidence of the partnership firm, not the conclusive proof. तो conclusive proof क्या है जो कि हमें बताएगी कि ये पार्टनरशिप फर्म है कि नहीं? It is the mutual agency which tell us as per section 4 and 6 of the पार्टनरशिप एक्ट. तो एक पार्टनरशिप फॉर्म रहती है, वो डिसॉल्व हो जाती है, और जो भी सरप्लस एसेट्स रहते हैं इंक्लूडिंग गुड्स दैट वर डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड अमंग द पार्टनर्स, Again, these seeing this, sale tax officers, they wanted that a tax should be levied on the sale of goods. Again, you have to check कि क्या यहाँ पर sale of goods हुआ है. When the partnership firm जब वो dissolve कर जाती है, जब उसके surplus assets including goods were distributed among the partners, answer is no. क्योंकि partnership firm again it is not the legal person, rather it is a living person. और आपके एग्जाम में पूछते हैं कि लिविंग पर्सन और लीगल पर्सन है कौन. So as the partnership firm is not the legal person, rather the living person, and club और जो भी partnership firm के assets हैं, that are the joint assets of the partners. So as partners cannot be both at the same time, seller as well as a buyer, meaning thereby in this case also, as there is no two parties, so there could not be a sale of goods. So taking help of these two cases, along with the essential ingredient of 4 subsection 1, which defines the term of contract of sale, we can conclude that two parties are required. One is seller and other is buyer. तो आपके दिमाग में एक क्वेश्चन आ सकता है कि क्या सेल ऑफ गुड्स एक्ट जो है वो एग्जॉस्टिव है, whether this SOGA is exhaustive. Exhaustive का मतलब whether it is complete on the point of sale of goods. Answer is no. और ये हमें पता कैसे चलेगा? We need to support with the help of some authority. The first authority is the preamble, जहां पे you won't find the word consolidate. So there is no consolidate word written in the preamble, which give us the inference that this act is not complete in itself when it comes to sale of goods. And the preamble says that an act to define and amend the law relating to the sales of goods. दूसरी authority है, when you see section 3, when you see section 3 of the SOGA, तो वहां पर लिखा है कि जो भी unrepealed provisions हैं of the Indian Contract Act of 1872, which are consistent with the Sale of Goods Act, that all will be applicable. यानी जो provisions unrepealed हैं, साथ ही साथ अगर वो consistent हैं Sale of Goods Act के साथ, तो वो भी लगेंगे. Again, this gives us the inference that SOGA is not exhaustive. Section 3. The unrepealed provisions of the Indian Contract Act 1872, save in so far as they are inconsistent with the express provision of this act, shall continue to apply to contracts for the sale of goods. Moreover, जब आप one more authority is there, and that authority is section 2 clause 15, जहां पे ये लिखा गया है कि जो भी एक्सप्रेशन सेल्स ऑफ गुड एक्ट के अंदर नहीं डिफाइंड है, लेकिन इफ दे आर डिफाइंड इन द इंडियन कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एक्ट, तो वी विल बी टेकिंग द मीनिंग ऑफ दैट टर्म as defined in the Indian Contract Act. And this provision is saying that we need to refer Indian Contract Act while reading the SOGA, which is not complete in itself, because the basics of the Sale of Good Act is the contract. 2 clause 15, expression used but not defined in this act and defined in the Indian Contract Act 1872 have the meaning assigned to them in that act. And the last authority on the point that the SOGA is not complete in itself is the chapter 2 का heading of the TPA. जब आप chapter 2 का heading देखोगे TPA of 1882, तो it is divided into two part, part A and part B. जो part A है of the chapter 2 of the TPA from section 5 till section 37, it is about the transfer of movable as well as immovable property. what does this part says? जो TPA का chapter 2 का part A है from section 5 till 37, it is applicable to both kind of property, movable as well as immovable. यानी movable property के transfer के लिए we have another legislation also, TPA, which regulate few transfers of movables, like gift of movable property is regulated by the chapter 7 of the TPA. So these all will give us the inference that SOGA is not complete in itself, and hope you have understood the basics of the Sale of Goods Act, which is a minor and a very easy subject. So thank you all for watching the video. Thank you.